So on October 6th at about 9 a.m., officers from the 5th District were called to the Germantown Emergency Center for the report of an injured bicyclist. And when officers got there, 14-year-old student from Seneca Valley High School related that he had been riding his bike to school, had been struck by a vehicle, and then was able to continue to school. Once he got to school, he went to see the nurse. The nurse directed that he go to the GEC after speaking with the school resource officer at Seneca Valley, and he was transported by his father from school to the Germantown Emergency Center, and that's where police began picking this up. I want to emphasize that this is an open investigation. The 14-year-old boy has non-life-threatening injuries. He's healthy today. We just really need to hear the perspective and the account from the driver who struck this bicyclist on October 6th. Speaking today will be Officer Bob Ladany, Ladany, Ladany. He's the investigating officer, and also the boy's father, Mr. Alvarez, and he'll provide you his full name, and then Council Member Craig Rice. Go ahead.
Hi, good morning. My name is Officer Bob Ladany. I'm with the Montgomery County Police, currently assigned to the 5th District Traffic Division. On the date and time in question, I responded to the Germantown Emergency Center, meeting Mr. Alvarez and his son, and to find out what happened. And of course, we found that he was operating a bicycle across a crosswalk heading to Seneca Valley High School for classes, and that there was contact made with a vehicle that knocked him down, and that the vehicle left the scene. I guess with the two incidents we've had here in the last 24 hours about people being struck and dying, this may not seem as much, but the investigation is ongoing, and we would love to hear from the vehicle that struck this young man, and just so we can get their side of it and to find out what's going on. Pedestrian safety is an incredibly large issue, whether it's down in the more urban areas of our county, down county in Silver Spring, Bethesda, and whether it's even in the more rural areas up here in Germantown, Clarksburg, Damascus areas. It's still very important, and we would just like to hear the other side of the incident and try to complete the investigation. Thank you.
Mr. Alvarez.
Yes, my name is Fernando Alvarez, the father of the one who got struck by minivan last October 6th, and I'm here to ask for your help, for any tips or any information that will lead to the catching of this female, black American, wearing glasses, driving a minivan. I do hope that anybody who knows any information, who have heard anything from her telling a story about an accident or any collision shop that she might have went to have her car fixed, please come forward. Please give us any information that will help to solve this investigation. Thank you so much. Yes.
Let Mr. Rice go, and then we'll do questions later. Is that okay?
So I just wanted to let folks know, and we've heard a lot from the community with concern about what this county and what the state is going to be doing about some of the challenges that we're seeing regarding some very concerning incidents of pedestrian safety. This county and SHA are taking very seriously some of the challenges that we're seeing. Many of you know the students that were hit at Kingsview Middle School a little over a year ago resulted in us changing an intersection and making some tremendous differences. In fact, here at the intersection of Middlebrook and 118, we've actually made some traffic improvements, and where unfortunately Christina Morris Ward lost her life at the intersection of 118 and Wisteria, we've made some traffic engineering changes there as well. But the key is that it has to be all a combined effort. It's got to be our public, our drivers, making sure that they're very aware and looking out for kids, understanding that while we have great traffic engineering that's there with crosswalks and walk signs, the reality is that some of our kids might not always pay attention to those. And at the same time, our drivers who are distracted oftentimes, whether it's eating food or putting on makeup or using their cell phones. Those are all the things that we want to make sure that we bring folks together to talk about how serious this is. Fortunately, in this instance, a young man didn't lose his life, but I'm sure that this incident is going to be something that sticks with him for the rest of his life. And it's certainly an indicator of what could have been a much more serious incident. We want to make sure that anybody who has information about this incident, please come forward. It will help us to make sure that we're addressing some of the issues surrounding our schools. And one of the points that I did want to make as well is that keep in mind our traffic patterns are changing as we grow as a county and become much larger. And we're seeing a lot of our folks that are car dependent. We're seeing a lot more traffic on our roads, and that's combined with a huge increase in the number of students that we have. We've changed bell times, and so when you're looking at the traffic patterns, they've completely changed in terms of people's interaction. We want people to be safe. We want to make sure that people are looking out for each other, but we also, in this specific case, want to make sure that anybody who has information comes forward, because it's going to really help us in the long run. So thank you very much, and turn it back over to Mr. Starks.
Mr. Alvarez, they might have some questions.
My son told me on his way to school, October 6th, he was using a pedestrian lane on a bike. There's a bunch of kids crossing with him, and it's a walk signal, and he was crossing, and this minivan with a female driver, black lady wearing glasses, is turning left from Wisteria Drive going to Great Seneca northbound, and he just struck him, ran over his bike, and he was thrown away in the middle of the road. And my son said, she peeked in her car, take a look, glanced at him, and just drove away. So the only thing he remembered, he didn't get any information, tag number. The only thing he was able to get information is the white van and the driver.
How is he now?
He's okay now. He is back in school, but still terrified that it's gonna happen again. Me, myself, and my family are very scared of having him bike again or go to work, so we make sure that we bring him to school and pick him up. We don't want to lose our child.
He been back on a bike since it happened?
No.
What did he tell you about that?
He's terrified, and I don't know, maybe physically, kids are very resilient, but emotionally and psychologically, I know I could feel it there. He's scared. He's trying, but I don't want to take the risk of having this happen again. It could be his life next time. So
What is your message to other drivers? Mr. Rice was just saying that, they're changing traffic patterns. In areas like Seneca Valley, where the school is, you've got a lot of kids moving through the area. What do you want drivers to be thinking about as they make their way around the county?
just be careful, be watchful, and be obedient to traffic rules and regulations. Even though it's a green pedestrian, yes, yield to pedestrian. And it will be, maybe it would help if there will be a left turn signal there only, and no stop on red, so a pedestrian could walk or cross safely, not to worry about car waiting in front of them, waiting for them to cross. Because me myself, I tried crossing them again several times during the day and during in the afternoon after work, and I see a bunch of cars turning left and waiting for me to cross, but it's like maybe you or Officer Ladini, cars waiting for me to cross. So I'm also terrified and also scared that what if my son will be using that road again and be stuck and be killed. So
Sir, if you could speak one-on-one to the person responsible for the safety.
please come forward. I know you have kids also, or you have relatives who have kids. you made a mistake. You should pay for it. We're just lucky that you didn't kill our son. And please come forward and admit your sins.
Was your son wearing a helmet at the time?
He was full gear, the helmet and everything. He was the only one wearing a helmet, I think, in school. He's embarrassed to use it, but it saves his life.
What sort of injuries did your son have on his body?
He had a bad sprain on his right ankle and a bruise on his left shin, but luckily he doesn't have any fracture.
Mr. Alvarez will be around for a few more minutes to answer questions. I just wanted to sum some things up, but Mr. Rice, did you know? Okay. As I stated at the beginning, this remains an open investigation. We're not assigning blame at this point. We need to hear from the driver and any other witnesses who believe they may have seen something. There are people out there that probably drove through that intersection at that point, have some bit of information, may not think it's much, but it could really help Officer Ladaney and the traffic squad resolve this issue. The other thing I wanted to touch on in the greater safety issue, and Councilmember Rice spoke about some of this, is that there are many responsibilities as we traverse our roads, whether we're driving a car, or whether we're pedestrians, or whether we're on a bicycle. Everybody has a role depending on what role you're in and matching up with those responsibilities. We're losing light at the beginning of and the end of each day now, and at the end of this month, as we go back to Eastern Standard Time, it's going to get dark a lot sooner. We're creatures of habit, so our schedules are not going to change around the hours of darkness or daylight hours. We still have to get to work and get to school. So as we're walking, biking, or driving where we're going in the mornings and evenings, be especially careful of everybody on the road as we share the roads we're on. Thank you for covering the story.
Question for you. Do we have any other information on the van? Was it an older van, newer van? Where would there be damage to it?
That's what we have right now. We don't want to speculate and kind of get people off track. We really want to hear from everybody at this point. Unfortunately, that's all we have.
Are there traffic cameras in the area? Did you get any images? Have you had problems at this intersection before? And do you really expect someone to come forward on this, or is there any incentive for anyone else who gives you a tip? Because I would think, why would someone come forward at this point?
To tell their part of the story and get this issue resolved.
Is there any incentive or anything for other tips that we should mention, or?
There's not a reward at this point, but as far as clearing this up and getting this issue resolved, that's a pretty big incentive.
And wait, the intersection and traffic cameras?
Those we have some video, but we're not able to release that at that point. That still needs to be examined. We're not sure how much it really shows as well, but it's not from the traffic camera. Those cameras don't record.
And have you historically had problems at that intersection before?
I don't have that information with me.
Again, can you remind the drivers of when and where, or anyone listening, when and where this happened, so that they, oh, I was in that area. October 6th, what time?
We think this occurred at about 7:30, maybe a little before 7:30, as students are walking, driving, and riding their bikes to school at Wisteria and Great Seneca Highway. Darcy.
I know there's always two sides to the story, but you guys have said a couple of times that you want to hear that person's side of the story. Are you questioning the veracity of the teen's story? Also, are you thinking that this could be a situation where the driver didn't know what you did?
As with any open investigation where there's been no conclusions made, there are many possibilities. Anything else? Mr. Alvarez will be here to answer questions individually as his time permits. Thank you for covering the story.